Aim Gurave Namaha. Om Parama Gurave Namaha. Gangan Pataye Namo Namaha. Hung Hunamate Namaha. Om Bhagavati Durga Devi Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Subhadraya Namaha. Om Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. Kling Goraya Namaha. Kling Nityanandaya Namaha. Kling Narasinghaya Namaha. Sring Kling Radha Krishnabhyam Namaha. Sring Rang Sita Ramabhyam Namaha. Om Apavitra Pavitrova Sarva Avastang Gatopiva Yat Smaret Pundarika Aksham Sabhaya Abhyantara Shuchi. Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitang Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Koroti Vachalang Pangong Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamahang Bandi Sri Gurung Dinataranam. Yat Kripa Tamahang Bande Parama Ananda Madhavam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Trinadapi Sunichena Tarar Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Amanate Kirtaniya Sadahari. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalau Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatir Anyata. Tatra Kirtayato Vipra, Viparsher Bhuri Tejasa. Aham Chadyagamam Tatra, Nivishtashtad Anugrahat. Soham Vasravayashyami Yataditang Yatamati. This last mantra that I chanted is from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sutta Goswami is explaining to the sages of Naimisharanya that he was present at the first recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he heard directly from Shukadev. And actually, at the end of Shukadev's dissertation instructing Maharaj Parikshit, Shukadev said, yes, this Sutta Goswami in the future will recite this Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisharanya. And that is how Srimad Bhagavatam begins. We are situated in the forest of Naimisharanya, and the sages headed by Shaunaka Muni are posing questions to Sutta Goswami. They are performing a sacrifice which is to last 1,000 years. And why are they doing it? For the benefit of the people of Kali Yuga, us. That's why they did that sacrifice. So Sutta told the sages that exactly as I have heard from Shukadev, I'm going to repeat the very same thing, and I'm also going to include my own personal realizations. So the reason why I chant that is because following in the footsteps of Sutta Goswami, I am going to recite now Srimad Bhagavatam as I have heard it from my spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, the ISKCON founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. And also, I will also give at times my own personal realization. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I have been requested by the sponsor for today's Sunday feast, Jyotsna and Suresh Patel. They requested that I speak on the prayers of Bheeshma Dev lying on the bed of arrows as he leaves this world at his own will and returns in front of Krishna. And Jyotsna said that she is doing this in memory of her, I think the word is Fuwa. Fuwa. His name was Ishvar Bai. He recently passed away. So, let me give some background information, and then we will hear the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam. So after the battle of Kurukshetra, Yudhishthira was not happy. He felt responsible that millions have died only so that he could become emperor of the world. Yudhishthira was so pious to a fault that he felt culpable. And he explained to Krishna that the sins I have incurred for winning this battle, there's no way I can atone for it. So Krishna, along with Vyasadeva, tried to explain to Yudhishthira, no, you did nothing wrong. But just think, even Krishna and Vyas could not convince Yudhishthira. That's how depressed his mind was. Even Krishna couldn't convince him. So Krishna said, okay, come with me. So Krishna, the Pandavas, headed by Yudhishthira, they all went to the scene of the massacre. And there was Bheeshma Dev, not lying on a comfortable bed in a 5-star hotel. He's lying on a bed of arrows, meaning his body is racked with arrows. But he's not dead, because long ago, Bheeshma had gotten a benediction that Bheeshma will die only when he wants to die. Don't you wish you had that? Don't you wish? Even Parikshit did not have that. Parikshit got the notice, 7 days, finish up. But Bheeshma, he's one of the Mahajans, one of the 12 authorized authorities on the science of God, according to Yamaraj himself, also a Mahajan. So Bhishma Dev is lying there. So Krishna is thinking, I can't convince Yudhishthira, but my devotee Bhishma will be able. So when Bhishma saw Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, he became so happy. And Bhishma said, Yudhishthira, why are you lamenting? Don't you understand who this Krishna is? He's not your cousin. He's not your messenger. No, he's God. He's the supreme God of all other gods. In fact, Bhishma uses the word Adi Narayan. So if anybody's confused, Bhishma Dev is telling you, Krishna is Adi, the original Narayana. That's according to Bhishma. And then Bhishma told Yudhishthira, whatever has happened all this time, it's simply the plan of Lord Sri Krishna. And then Bhishma said, there may be great munis and rishis and sages. They cannot understand the plan of Krishna. Nobody. That's what Bhishma said. Nobody can understand Krishna's plan. So he told Yudhishthira, just accept. You are now sovereign, the whole world. This whole battlefield of Kurukshetra was fought because Krishna wanted Yudhishthira to be emperor, not Duryodhana. No. Krishna was moving the chess pieces. So Bhishma told him, this is Krishna's plan, accept it. Just accept it. Now you are the appointed ruler. Now take care of the subjects. That's what it used to mean to be a king. Nowadays, these presidents and rulers, what are they doing? Exploiting the people just for their own sense gratification. Nonsense rascals, every one of them. Because they don't see to the interests of the people. So Bhishma said, now you take care of all the people now. Guide them accordingly. This is your duty. Yes, Yudhishthira was that kind of person. Always asking himself, what is my duty? At every moment. And Parikshit Maharaj, his grandson, followed in Yudhishthira's footsteps. Parikshit also was always asking himself, what's my duty now? What am I supposed to do now? So, Bhishma was able to convince Yudhishthira to give up his lamentation and to accept the position. This is where we pick up. Now, please hear with rapt attention. This Bhagavatam is nectar. In the third shloka, the word pibata is used. Pibata rasa alayam. What is Bhagavatam? Is it just some storybook? No. It is liquid nectar. Nectar means you drink it, you don't die. Liquid nectar, but how do you drink it? Through your ear. Pibata, you're drinking, but you're drinking through the ear. So that's why you want to pick up every drop of this Bhagavatam. In fact, there is a verse in the Bhagavatam itself that once you get a taste for Bhagavatam, you lose your taste for anything else. That's how powerful is this Bhagavatam. My spiritual master, Prabhupada, that was his personal life's goal, to translate the Srimad Bhagavatam into English. He got as far as the 13th chapter of the 10th canto. Then Krishna called him. So we pick up now. Bheeshma has convinced Yudhishthira, and now we pick up. And while Bheeshma Dev was describing occupational duties, the sun's course ran into the northern hemisphere. This period is desired by mystics who die at their will. Thereupon that man, who spoke on different subjects with thousands of meanings, and who fought on thousands of battlefields and protected thousands of men, suddenly stopped speaking. And being completely freed from all bondage, withdrew his mind from everything else and fixed his wide open eyes upon the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And he stood before Bheeshma, not in Murli form, not Dvibhuja, no, because that's not the form Bheeshma wanted to see. So it says here, Krishna stood before Bheeshma four-handed, dressed in yellow garments that glittered and shined. That was the form that Bheeshma was attached to. Some devotees, they are attached to the form of Sri Ram. That is their heart of hearts. Some devotees, Jagannath. And some devotees, Krishna, Gopal, Govinda. So Krishna will manifest himself. This is also mentioned in the third canto, that Krishna manifests himself in that form that the devotee constantly meditates upon. By pure meditation, looking at Lord Sri Krishna, Bheeshma was at once freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved of all bodily pains caused by the arrow wounds. Thus all the external activities of his senses at once stopped, and Bheeshma prayed transcendentally to the controller of all living entities while quitting his material body. So Bheeshma is lying down. And who's at his feet? Krishna. So, those of you who have studied the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you know this verse that Krishna says, if you can think of me and remember me at the time of death, you will come to me. So one name of Krishna, Bhakta Vatsala. Krishna is very, very affectionate towards his devotees. And even though Bheeshma fought against Krishna and wanted to kill Arjuna, Krishna accepted Bheeshma's service, and there is Krishna at the time Bheeshma wants to give up his body. Because Bheeshma taking the side of the Kauravas and Bheeshma fighting against Arjuna and fighting Krishna is all a stage drama play. Bheeshma knew his role. Bheeshma knew, no, this is what Krishna wants me to do. And also, Krishna satisfied Bheeshma's desire because during the battle, Arjuna did not see the face of Krishna. Arjuna was seeing what? Krishna's back. Because Krishna was driving the chariot, Arjuna was behind, so he was seeing the back of Krishna. But Bheeshma, who was fighting Krishna, could see the angry face of Krishna. And Krishna was angry, especially at that crucial moment when Arjuna's chariot got stuck and was broken. And Bheeshma was about to actually kill Arjuna. He had everything ready. So what did Krishna do? And it'll be mentioned. Krishna broke his promise because he said, I'll not fight. But to protect Arjuna, no. Krishna took up a broken chariot wheel and rushed towards Bheeshma, angry like a lion. And Bheeshma was saying, yes, ecstasy. Because actually Bheeshma wanted Krishna to kill him. And he wanted to see Krishna in that angry mood. That we call that rasa. As I mentioned, some people like the rasa of Sita Ram. Some devotees like the rasa of Jagannath. And some devotees like the rasa of Gopijana Vallabha. Radha. Yes. Different tastes. Different tastes. So, Krishna is in front of Bheeshma. And now Bheeshma is going to offer his prayers and go back home, back to Godhead. Bheeshma Dev said, let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, and let me invest my thinking in Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of devotees, Krishna enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world. Although Krishna only this material world comes from. Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna, yes. Krishna rode Arjuna's chariot, not anybody else's, especially not Duryodhana. No. Krishna took up Parthasarathi, Arjuna's chariot. Krishna has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body. Yes, everyone saw the form of Krishna. It might have looked like a material body, but Bheeshma is pointing out, don't think that Krishna has a material body like me and you. Krishna's body is transcendental, nirguna, above the modes of nature. And Krishna's body resembles the bluish color of the tamal tree. I mentioned many times, I will always mention. Bhagavatam gives detailed information about God. No other scripture gives so much detail about God. Srimad Bhagavatam does. Krishna's body attracts everyone in the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. May Krishna's glittering yellow dress and Krishna's lotus face, covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results, yes. Because at the time of death, whatever is the most prominent desire is going to determine your next life. If I die thinking of my house and my car, my next birth is going to be a cockroach in the car. Prabhupada has mentioned like that. So one has to be very careful the mentality at the moment of death, because that's also mentioned in the 8th chapter of Gita. Whatever you're thinking of most prominent in your heart, that is going to determine. You all probably know better than me the story of Bharat. What was he thinking of at the time of death? A deer. And what did happen? He took birth as a deer. So be very, very careful. Very, very careful. That's why we practice remembering Krishna. Also in the 8th chapter, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yujyacha. Krishna tells Arjuna, go on fighting, but keep remembering me. And so many times I have explained that yes, we have so many responsibilities, so many duties, businessman, husband, wife, mother, father, temple managers. But you should do your duties, but don't forget Krishna. That's why we practice remembering Krishna, and that's why we have these things, japa mala, to practice. And later, we will have the japa session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Now, Bheeshma is going to paint a nice movie scene for you. He's describing on the battlefield where Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship. The flowing hair of Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses. In other Vaishnava scriptures, Damodarashtakam prayers, we learn that Krishna's hair is dark blue tinted with red. But here, because of the battle, that hair has turned ashen gray. Some of us are now gray, ashen gray, unless you use henna. Due to the dust, and because of Krishna's labor, beads of sweat wetted Krishna's face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by Krishna. Just see, yes, Bheeshma was shooting arrows at Krishna, but it's explained by Prabhupada. First of all, Krishna does not go owie, owie. You cannot hurt Krishna. Again, Krishna's body is transcendental. Krishna is always in ananda, bliss. So even though Bheeshma is shooting arrows at Krishna and hitting him, Krishna is feeling ananda. And how to understand? Sometimes we do pushpanjali, right? And we place the flowers. We did it for the installation of Sitaram deities, right? We all went up and we... So Bheeshma's arrows to Krishna was just like pushpanjali. Let my mind go unto Sri Krishna. Everybody say, let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna. Everybody. In obedience to the command of his friend Arjuna, Krishna entered the arena of the battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana. And while there, Krishna shortened the lifespans of the opposite party by his merciful glance. And this was done simply by Krishna's looking at the enemy. If you've studied the 11th chapter of Gita, Arjuna sees the universal form, the Virat Rupa. And what does Arjuna see? He sees all the Kauravas entering the mouth of the universal form, meaning they're all going to be dead and gone. And it's also mentioned he also saw Bheeshma. It was like a preview. If you go to, I know you don't go, but there's this thing in America called movies. And they always show previews of the new movie so that you come back again. So this universal form was a preview movie of what was going to happen. And then Krishna, when Arjuna said, Who are you? What is your mission? The universal form said, I am time. And I've come to destroy everything in this material world. And except for you and your brothers, nobody on this battlefield is going home. They're all dead by my arrangement. Nimitta matra bhava savya sachin. Therefore, Arjuna, I want you to be my instrument. Just like these kartals. They don't play themselves. I have to play them. So in the same way, Krishna is asking Arjuna to voluntarily become his instrument. Because whether Arjuna fought the battle or not didn't really matter, because Krishna was going to get his due. Krishna was going to fix everything. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna. And when Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance, upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, Krishna eradicated Arjuna's ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. So that's Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita begins, Arjuna drops his bow. He's confused. He's afraid. He doesn't want to fight. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is just to convince Arjuna, get up and fight. 18 chapters just to convince Arjuna, do your duty. May Krishna's lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction. Fulfilling my desire and sacrificing his own promise, Krishna got down from the chariot, took up its wheel, and ran towards me hurriedly, just as a lion might go after an elephant. So that's Bheeshma's feeling when he saw Krishna charging at him. Krishna even dropped his outer garment on the way. Yes, Krishna should get the Lifetime Academy Award for the best acting job. He knows how to play perfectly. May Lord Krishna, who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. Therefore, one of Krishna's names, everybody say, Mukunda. There are different meanings, but the primary meaning is one who gives liberation. Everybody again say, very nice. On the battlefield, Krishna charged me as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. Krishna's shield was scattered and Krishna's body was smeared with blood due to the wounds. Again, Krishna doesn't have blood. So, just like in these movies, when you see all the blood, no, it's not blood. It's some kind of dye or whatever they use. It's not blood. Huh? Tomato juice, there you go. It looks real, right? The guy's, oh. So same way, Krishna is showing that he's bleeding. It's just a drama. At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjuna. What's Krishna's name? Partha Sarathi. Krishna, who stood with a whip in his right hand and a bridle rope in his left. So descriptive, huh? Bheeshma is giving you the actual picture. And Krishna was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. I believe there's one incident where the arrow is coming towards Arjuna. So Krishna steps on the chariot, it goes deep, and the arrow goes swoop. You gotta love Krishna. Bhakta Vatsala. He takes care of his devotee. Those who saw Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original spiritual forms after death. That's how merciful Krishna is. Just for participating, you get salvation. One time, maybe about 8 years ago, I was in Santiago, Chile, and most of the devotees there, they're Sindhis. So I was staying in this one house, and so the man said, you know, Krishna killed so many demons and they got liberated. Maybe I should become a demon. And I tried to explain to him, it doesn't work that way. And another thing is, to be that kind of a demon, to be killed by Krishna, you're not going to qualify. No. These are special instances. He was actually thinking like that I'll become a demon. So I had to fix him. And then I explained, even you're killed by Krishna as a demon, you don't get exactly the same reward as the devotees. There has to be some difference. Right? Yes. So they get liberation, but there are different levels of liberation. And we learn every year during the month of Damodar how elevated Yashoda's liberation, Vimukti. And Shukadev says, Yashoda's liberation is greater than Lakshmi, greater than Shiva, greater than Brahma's. Vimukti. Why? She gets to tie up Krishna. You can't do that. She gets to feed Krishna her breast milk. We don't have that. So Yashoda, so Bhakta Vatsala, Krishna reciprocates with his devotees according to their degree of love. This concept is a major reason why I worship Krishna. Because Krishna is only interested in your love. You can be poor. Sudama was poor, dirt poor, but he had Krishna. Krishna massaged his feet, and Rukmini was fanning Sudama. So it has nothing to do with your material position. Oh Krishna, I'm big CEO. Oh Krishna, I'm so Krishna doesn't care. Krishna wants to see, what's your heart? Sisi RadhaRaman Bhagavan ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Prabhupada used to sometimes tell us, Krishna is not looking at what you have given. Krishna is looking at what are you holding back. Because what is Krishna looking for? Unalloyed, exclusive devotion. He uses that word in the end of Bhagavad Gita, Mam Ekam Sharanam. No. You have to surrender to me exclusively. Let my mind be fixed upon Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Brajadam. So Bheeshma was also aware of Gopi Leela. The gopis imitated the characteristic movements of the Lord after Krishna's disappearance from the rasa dance. Yes. So Bheeshma is aware of this. He should be, as I said before, he's Mahajan. He's authority on the science of God. At the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Yudhishthira, There was the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world, the royal and learned orders. And in that great assembly, Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality. Yes, there was what is called Agra Puja. Who should be worshipped first? Not only were there the royal members, there were brahmanas there at the sacrifice, there was rishis, and demigods were also there. And Yudhishthir, when he invited Krishna to attend, Yudhishthir said, I'm doing this Rajasuya sacrifice because I want to show everyone you are God. That was his intention. Of course, the Rajasuya sacrifice meant that Yudhishthir is the undisputed ruler. This is before the battle of Kurukshetra. But he said, but my real intention is, Krishna, I want to show everyone who you are. So when it came time for the Agra Puja, it was Yudhishthir's younger brother Sahadev who stood up and said, if you're asking me, the best person, the first person that should be worshipped is Krishna. And Sahadev spoke so eloquently, but of course that rascal Shishupal, he objected. But that's another pastime, some other Sunday. Otherwise I'll go here, there, and everywhere. So this happened during my presence, and I remember this incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord, Sri Krishna, now present before me, because I have now transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to Krishna's presence in everyone's heart, even in the hearts of the mental speculators. Krishna is in everyone's heart, just as the sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. This is how Bheeshma ends his prayers. Then Sutta Goswami says, then, like birds at the end of the day, Bheeshma became silent, and he was just fixated upon Krishna's lotus face. And at the opportune moment, Bheeshma relinquished his body and was delivered. This is the glorious death of Bheeshma by his own will. And if we can think of these kinds of things, these pastimes, why this Bhagavatam is written, it is for us simply to read again and again and again and again, so that in your veins all there flows is Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Bo. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai. Louder. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So once again, I want to, first of all, thank Jyotsna and Suresh for sponsoring tonight's Sunday feast, and even more special, requesting that I give this lecture. Because whenever I get the opportunity to recite the Shastras, I cannot be any more happier. Right now, I'm in heaven. And for so many years, this temple has been so kind to me, and I don't have enough words to thank this temple for all the facility it has given me. And I pray, I never do anything that I will lose this privilege. I beg that I can continue to come every month and speak on Krishna Katha. Would you like a blessing before I end? All right, if you want a blessing, you fold your hands over your heart, you close your eyes, and receive the blessing. My dear Lord Krishna, these nice devotees patiently heard your message for more than 40 minutes. They sat attentively, and I know, Krishna, that you are in their hearts. And you say, it is said in Bhagavatam, that when somebody listens to Krishna Katha, you vidhunoti, you purify them, you cleanse them of abhadrani, inauspiciousness. So Krishna, please, in all these people, remove all the inauspiciousness so that they can see and feel your presence in your heart. Please chant with me one more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And once again, this was dedicated in the memory of Ishwarabai, and that is Jyotsna's Fuwa. Hare Krishna.